Okay, good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Craig Zamry. I'm a business consultant here at the SBDC at YSU, and we're thrilled to kick off today's session, which is part 2 on LinkedIn for businesses. We're excited to have back with us today Curt Anderson. Last session, Curt provided an excellent high-level overview of LinkedIn for business, and today we're going to go a little bit further and take a deeper dive into LinkedIn for business. As many of you may know, LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network with over 774 million members, and that's in more than 200 countries and territories worldwide. So the purpose of today's session is really to help you learn how you can build and maximize your connections and ideal buyers. This high-impact webinar will explain what your company can do to stand out as a solution provider. Some of the things that you're going to learn today is how to discover and win over ideal buyers with LinkedIn, the value of posting videos on LinkedIn, maximizing LinkedIn Live and using it as a powerful tool, building a vibrant community with LinkedIn, and how to market strategic connections to grow your business. So just a quick overview of today's session. Curt Anderson is going to go ahead and begin with a presentation. Then we're going to take a brief strategic pause, open it up for Q&A. Please feel free to drop any of your comments in the chat and or questions in the Q&A section. I know our teammates, Jenna and Nikki, are going to be monitoring the Q&A in the chat, and they'll make sure they get those over to Curt for him to answer. So at this time, excited to have with us Curt Anderson, and I'd like to turn it over to you, Curt. Thank you.
Craig, thank you, man. I deeply appreciate it. You can hear me. Audio is good?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, guys. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us today. We know you're super busy. We have a fun-filled program. I want to give you a huge shout out and thank you to Craig, Nikki, and Jenna, Pat, the director, the entire team at the Youngstown State University Small Business Development Center. They do incredible work for entrepreneurs. Completely confidential. Totally, services are completely free. If you're coming to us outside of Youngstown, boy, you want to reach out to your local SBDC. Guys, we're going to dive right in, man. We have a ton to cover today. So can I see a show of hands? How many people just love making cold calls? Let's see those hands. Not many of us, right? So what we want to do is I want to share a little quick story with you. And it's called You Had Me at Lazy. Okay, you had me at lazy. What the heck am I talking about? Guys, many years ago, I was blessed, honored. I had an e-commerce business. It was located at a fulfillment center across the border from you down in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we were having growing pains. There were some challenges with a company that owned this fulfillment center. And so we're like, hey, we need a new supervisor. So we had a person to come in for an interview. It was myself and this person in the interview, just the two of us. Within the first 2 minutes, she looks at me, she says, well, you know what? I'm really lazy and I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm like, did you just say lazy? She scoots up in a chair. She looks me dead in the eye. She goes, I am lazy and I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I need things as efficient and simple as possible. If I don't understand it, how would my team understand it? I need the fastest moving products at the shipping lanes. She went on, completely blew me away. She was hired for the project, turned it around within a month. She was one of the most amazing individuals I've ever worked with. Now, you're not going to believe this. 8 years later, I'm involved with an electronics manufacturer. We're going to talk about them tomorrow at our e-commerce program. They were looking for an electrical engineer. Person comes in for the interview. I was on the interview team. Person sits down, and what does she say? I'm a lazy person. She was a 30-year veteran of being an electrical engineer, RIT grad, one of the hardest working women I've ever encountered. She was on the shop floor at 6 a.m, stayed there till probably 5 p.m, ran circles around people half her age. And her tagline was, I'm a lazy person. So two of the most impactful individuals that I've ever worked with focus on being lazy, meaning AKA, let's be as efficient as humanly possible. So let's be lazy with LinkedIn so we never have to make those darn dreaded cold calls ever again. So guys, my name's Curt Anderson. What an honor. I feel so blessed to be with you here today. Thank you for taking your time to join us. I'm coming to you live from Lakewood, New York, which sits on the shores of wonderful, beautiful Chautauqua Lake. My tagline, my headline on my LinkedIn profile is e-commerce evangelist for manufacturers. Most important job on the planet for me is Girl Dad. Author of Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. Lots of fun e-commerce webinars every Friday. And check this out, man. This dude went to Ohio State University. So since we're in a great state of Ohio, how about a little OH? Give me back a little IO. So once again, thanks, guys. So I'm going to share a story with you. I'm going to take you through a process today on how to tackle LinkedIn. Now, once upon a time, there was this 52-year-old bald dude right in the middle of COVID. He had no idea what he was going to do when this little plague hit the planet. So what he decided to do is he started a business from scratch using LinkedIn. Isn't this crazy? You're going to start a business in the middle of a global pandemic using just LinkedIn. Now, this guy is a friend, wants to stay anonymous, but his name is Curt Sanderson. So I'm going to share a little story with you about my buddy, Curt Sanderson. And a big thing as Craig and all the team at SBDC can tell you, we call it that entrepreneurial curse. What's the entrepreneurial curse? So many of us, I've done this over and over and over. We want to try to be everything to everyone. What happens? We become nothing to no one. What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. What I encourage you to do is you want to laser focus, whether you're just starting out on LinkedIn or whether you just haven't been hitting the goals that you want to achieve. The tagline is the riches are in the niches. So we want to micro niche down. We want to get super niche. If you say niche, I guess the riches are in the niches. Is that how you say that? So we want to niche down. Our agenda for today is let's be lazy with LinkedIn. So let's be lazy with LinkedIn. Number one, we're going to talk about your so versus your so what. So versus your so what. Then we're going to discover your ideal buyer. I call them your LinkedIn soulmate. Then number three, we're going to identify your soulmate 100. Let's get started. Now, many of us, hopefully all of us, we've heard of that SWOT analysis, right? You have your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. Well, guess what? Here at the Youngstown State University, SBDC, we're in our happy place. It's a Tuesday. We have no weaknesses. There are no threats. So today, here's a little homework assignment. I encourage you, write down all of your core strengths. What are you absolutely best at? What's the most value that you bring to the market? Go ahead and brag a little bit, man. You've earned it. Jot down your core strengths. Number two, I encourage you, invite you to jot down where are the hardcore opportunities. My father used to preach to me constantly, you chase profits, don't chase sales. Chase profits, don't chase sales. So we want to laser focus on where can you move the needle the fastest and focus on your strengths and opportunities. Now, what's the so what? The so what is that dreaded, they land on your website, they land on your LinkedIn profile and they say, so what is so special about you? Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing because when you laser focus, what this does, it weeds out some of those bad leads. I can't tell you how many manufacturers I work with are like, hey, we're getting bad leads. Well, we're speaking the wrong language to the wrong buyers. On your LinkedIn profile, we have to speak the right language to the right buyer. So what you want to do, again, I encourage you, welcome you, invite you. Avoid being too broad, meaning like, hey, what is your specialty? Man, I'm in leadership. I'm a change agent. Maybe I'm a social media expert, marketing specialist, branding guru. Still not sure what we do, right? We want to niche down. So for our buddy, Curt, he was like, hey, man, I've been doing e-commerce for a really long time, been working with manufacturers for a while. Let's double down and go after e-commerce for manufacturers. So number two, I encourage you, welcome you, invite you, focus on your LinkedIn soulmate, AKA that ideal buyer. So who are your soulmates? Think about the folks that you can move the needle for. You have vast experience, amazing talents, God-given skills. What can we do to move the needle? Because you have greatness within you. So we want to exploit those strengths and opportunities on your LinkedIn profile. So now what we do at my team, we do e-commerce training. The very first step, the first thing we do with every single client, we take them through that buyer persona exercise. We have a little tool right on our website. That's what we do. So you want to build your profile to speak to that ideal buyer, that soulmate. So now, guys, question for you. What is every person's favorite word on the planet? I encourage you, drop it in the chat box if you know this answer. So I'm going to put this out there. I saw a few people, Bill, Christine, Gary, Megan, Tara, Annabelle, my friend Craig, Nikki. Jenna, what is your favorite word on the planet? It's your name. It's music to everybody's ears, right? People love their name, right? I love me. So what we want to do on your LinkedIn profile is you want to make it all about them. Now, however, on our LinkedIn profile, we can't use their name per se, right? But what we want to do is we want to make it all about them, okay? Now, before I forget, guys, if we were in person, if this was a SBDC event, we'd be handing out business cards, shaking hands, high-fiving. I encourage you, welcome you, invite you. Drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat box. I've dropped mine in there. I would be honored if you shout a connection to me since we are at a LinkedIn party. But if you go onto my LinkedIn profile, this is what you're going to read, okay? My purpose and mission is to help you crush your e-commerce goals. Looking for incredible, valuable e-commerce strategies? Stop by our free weekly webinar series, Manufacturing E-commerce Success. Check out this top-selling book, according to my mom, Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. Also swing by b2btail.com for free resource guides. Founded an e-commerce company in 1995 that was ranked on the Internet Retailer top 1,000 companies, so on and so forth. Now, guys, when you go through this, you might be thinking, man, everything on here is free. How's this guy make a living? But the thing is, you want to deliver value, right? It's not it's not me. It's all about the other person reading. How do we deliver that value and help people accomplish their goals? So now that Bert, we're back to our buddy Bert, my friend, he's working on his LinkedIn profile to speak to his soulmates. Encourage you to have your profile speak to your soulmates. What we want to do is now we want to get on the offensive and start connecting. Well, the challenge is for Bert, he's trying to connect with manufacturers. If he tries to connect with one manufacturer at a time, it would take forever, right? It's going to take too long. So what I encourage you to do, we're on step 3 and what I call, we want to connect with our soulmate 100, okay? We just covered our strengths and opportunities. We're identifying our core ideal buyer, that soulmate. Now, what's our soulmate 100, okay? The soulmate 100 is exactly this. What are the groups, the organizations, the agencies, the peeps, who on this planet can help you move the needle by attracting you, connecting you with clusters of your soulmates? So who out there can help you connect with 5, 10, 15, 20 of your soulmates at one time? Okay. Now, I love this example. When we do our training, our clients seem to enjoy this example. I'm going to share it with you. Think if we were all in a retail business, we were selling lamps. Now, if we were aggressively selling lamps, who do we want to connect with? Well, how about the person that sells light bulbs? And why I love this analogy is and we're going to go through this process on using videos and LinkedIn Live, is we want to shine a bright light on our soulmates. That's how we build those trusting relationships. So think about this, guys. If we were all selling lamps, who is the lampshade person, the light bulb person, the person that's selling beds, pillows, end tables, everything that's aligned with those products, that we could create a referral network. Now, this is nothing new. I'm sure if there's professionals out there that are accountants, insurance, attorneys, I'll use an example for real estate agents. If we were starting a brand new real estate firm, we would want to connect with every person on this list. Boy, we want to be buddied up and be best friends with the homeowner's insurance person, fencing, awning, landscaper, pool person, right? We want to align ourselves with all these folks. Now, what's a great way to do this? Okay, now I'm sure I've been guilty of this tons of times. I just received a note that looked exactly like this. Let's see how this sounds. Hi there. I thought it'd be great if I put myself and my company on your radar. We. Now, if you remember from our last workshop, we called this what? The we syndrome, right? We don't want to be guilty of the we syndrome. We have won tons of awards. We have serviced thousands of customers. We have the best products on the planet. We guarantee your customers will love us. I'm awesome. Just ask me, do you want to do business with this person? Probably not, right? Please go away. Stop bothering me. Get out of my inbox, right? When we send these messages out, when we send our connections on LinkedIn, we want to make it all about them. Here's an example. Hey, word on the street is you are the best fill in the blank. You are the best light bulb. You are the best lampshade. You're the best electrician, the best pool guy, right? Wowzer, you are truly crushing it. Customers constantly ask me for a referral to your service or product. It builds enormous trust when my clients receive a referral to a proven expert with your amazingly successful track record. It'd be an honor to connect and send clients your way, AKA help you make money. Could we grab a virtual or in-person cup of coffee to learn about your superpowers? Now, when you make it all about that other person, now I'm going a little over the top with this, but as our dear friend Zig Ziglar says, you can have everything you want in life if you just help enough other people, okay? So what Bert decided to do, he's going to go out and start connecting with his soulmate 100 list. Okay. Connecting with lampshades, light bulbs, everybody out there. So for example, Bert is in the manufacturing space. Everybody on here is in the same space. How about manufacturing happy hour, manufacturing.net, manufacturing marketing world, manufacturing out loud, industry week. And of course, my dear beloved friends at the Small Business Development Center. Think about this. There are 31 people on this call right now. There's several of us from the SBDC. So let's say there's 20 some, right? 28 people. How on the planet would I be able to connect with 28 people? I align myself with dear friends at the SBDC and try to give my best. And what they do is they bring in an audience for me. So this is a great network for me to work with small business development centers. I also work with another agency. We're going to go through examples called the Manufacturing Extension Partnerships, MEPs, very similar to the SBDCs. Now, folks, these are a bunch of Bert soulmates. Check out these amazing, wonderful, beautiful people. And when you look at their headlines, almost every one of them are in some type of business service, manufacturing, marketing for manufacturers. So again, think about your space, the product you sell, the service that you provide, and how can you create that referral network of folks by going on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, when you're making these connections, here's a little tip for you. I encourage you, welcome you, invite you to be authentic, compliment, recognize, praise, acknowledge where they went to college, military service, hobbies, interests. Let's take a look. Hey, Tony, great to connect here on LinkedIn. Fantastic questions regarding mentors. Now, what I've done is go into conversations. Great way to make connections instead of just a random cold connection. Get into those conversations on LinkedIn. Also, thank you for your service in the Navy. Well done. I look forward to following your posts, wishing you continued success. Here's another one. Fantastic profile. You've built an impressive career. The MEP network plays a critical role with U.S. manufacturers. As a fellow OSU alum, it'd be great to join your LinkedIn network. Wishing you continued success. Go Buckeyes, right? Here's one I just received the other day. This was awesome. And this gentleman, great tactic here. Your profile looks impressive. Thank you for the compliment. Appreciate it. It's great that you've given back to the community with your professional achievements like volunteering for hospice. I love hospice, very dear to my heart. So this gentleman took the time to scroll through my profile, saw that I was active, volunteered at hospice for a dozen years, and made that recognition. Do I want to connect with this person? Absolutely, because he's showing that he cares. So again, just if you listen to motivation speakers, what do they talk about constantly? This is not original from me. Just want to share it with you. When you get involved in LinkedIn posts or you're making those connections, be super positive, over the top supportive, give value with a contagious enthusiasm, and let's be humble and grateful. I am so grateful for you guys today. Another tip that I want to share with you, play matchmaker. Man, this is such a powerful tool. Why? Everybody else on LinkedIn, Craig just said there's 700 and some million, gazillion, trillion, whatever million people on LinkedIn. What are they all trying to do? Man, they're trying to move the needle just like you are. They are seeking their soulmates. They're trying to provide for their families. Let's all get in there and help each other out. Let me give you a couple examples. I love, I thrive, I relish, cherish, making connections. Hey, John and Max, setting up an intro here. John is an amazing dude who works passionately helping companies with this powerful software. Hey, John, Max is also, what a coincidence, also an amazing dude. An operational excellence expert. He delivers incredible results for manufacturers. Lots of collaboration opportunity. Please take it from here. Let's share another one. Now, one of these, as a matter of fact, we're showcasing one of these companies tomorrow. We got to come back tomorrow. Man, we're going to have a great program tomorrow. And this gentleman was looking to land on podcasts. Well, lo and behold, I have a bunch of friends from LinkedIn that offer podcasts, like my dear friend Lori. Let's look at this connection. Hey, Lori and Jeffrey, setting up an intro here. Lori, Jeffrey Stern is the CEO of Voice Express, a cutting edge technology company. He's a dynamic entrepreneur. He's built a wonderful business, and he would be a great podcast guest. Hint, hint. Now, Lori wanted him for a guest, so I already asked her for that. Jeffrey, Lori is also awesome. She's built an incredibly successful business, plus she runs a fantastic podcast. So again, if you work relentlessly on making those connections, now this was a public post. This person put, grateful to Curt Anderson for opening so many doors. Now this one I'm going to share. I say this with tremendous humility. Now this was a public post. Didn't ask this person, but again, I just want to show you a process. I'm extremely intentional with this. Again, I'm saying this with tremendous humility. I'm going to share what this person typed. You know, when you meet someone, I ask if there are 3 things I can do to help them. When you meet Curt Anderson, he asks if he can introduce you to like 137 people. I kid you not. This guy not only knows everyone, he makes it a point to connect you if he thinks he can help. Guys, when you're out there, man, be intentional with helping others, because they're just going to come back and help you. He's one of the best guys at paying it forward. To all of you salespeople, when you do this with a relentless passion, someone like myself will be so impressed. He'll introduce you to his network. He's a chronic connector. He's literally written a book on e-commerce for manufacturers. Check him out, blah, blah, blah. This is a dear friend, Greg Mishu. He and I have done business together. We do speaking engagements together. He is absolutely amazing. And again, what I encourage you to think about, man, come into these, a mentor shared with me these 3 points many years ago. I just want to share these with you. Pursue your goals relentlessly, meaning help others pursue their goals. Seek those opportunities with tenacity. Surround yourself with dream supporters. I love that line. When I had the honor and privilege of being a small business development center advisor, our team, we called ourselves, we are dream supporters. Craig and Jenna, Nikki, Pat, their entire team, they are dream supporters, helping entrepreneurs pursue and achieve their dreams. Now, guys, next, I want to talk to you about creating content. We're going to take a deep dive into creating content on blog posts, videos, and LinkedIn Live. Here we go. What I encourage you, invite you, welcome you to think about, again, you have a wealth of knowledge, you have expertise that people are longing for. They are looking for help to achieve their goals. Be the teacher, educate, help inform, be that expert. So for creating content, you want to create content for your soulmates. Let me give you a couple examples. So our friend Bert Sanderson started writing blog posts, man, right when COVID was going on, a little bit before. But he's writing these blog posts and you're like, man, I can't write a blog post. I'm telling you, if Bert's 8th grade English teacher, Mrs. Warner, knew that Bert ever wrote a single blog post, let alone, check this out, 52, you'd have to take her to the ICU, man. We'd have to call 911. She would be in emergency care with a severe heart attack. So if Bert can do it, man, you can do it. Let's check this out. Seeking Soulmates, does your website attract dream customers? This was February 2nd, like just weeks before this darn COVID thing was hitting. Now, here's a great one. Now, check out that picture. Remember this. Become the blankie. So I put out this post. Check out some of these comments. Now, the nice thing is if you put out a blog post on your website, it's great, but you're just like, man, does anybody see it? It's crickets. Is anybody out there? When you post on LinkedIn, man, you can get some really nice positive activity. Here, love this, Curt, terrific article. Trustworthiness, effectiveness, consistency ensures stronger relationships. Plus, being warm and fuzzy certainly helps too. Not gonna lie, I was here for the cute dog. So again, great article. So the nice thing is there's an affirmation, there's a confirmation. Now I'm sharing this with you for twofold. Number one, as you're trying to connect with that soulmate 100 list, get involved in conversations, show your expertise, take a look at what some of these folks are typing here. Very thoughtful, contributing to the conversation here. This person here also, the sweet doggy picture. So my other tip is put cute dog pictures in your blog post. You'll get a lot of activity. So now I dropped a couple more posts. Hey, manufacturer, what's on your menu? Perhaps a plate of e-commerce. How about market your manufacturing facility like a 5-star resort? Now this is cool. I received a note from someone. Hey, researching job shop industry, ran across your articles on e-commerce for manufacturing. Thanks, let's connect. This is my dear friend, Joyce. She is the founder of the Women in Manufacturing chapter in Denver, like 3,000 members. Now, what were we talking about with that Soulmate 100? Joyce is certainly on that list. She has access to literally thousands of manufacturers, again, by building that rapport, that relationship. Now I'm showing you this note for another reason. She found me by creating content. Now tomorrow at our e-commerce workshop, strongly encourage you to join us tomorrow. We're going to take a deep dive into how blog posts can help you capture those first page rankings on Google so we can stop being the best kept secret and be found. Now, as Bert was writing all these articles through COVID, this was April 24th. Now we're like a month into COVID. He put out this blog post. Hey, manufacturers, being the best kept secret is no longer an option. Now, Bert had so many articles, he was starting to think, hey, man, if I took all these blog posts, they could actually be a chapter in a book. And he was putting together a book, and he was stuck on what should the title be of that book. Well, he put out this blog post and people started chiming in, amazing headline, blah, blah, blah. This is my dear buddy, my partner in crime right now. We are business partners through a LinkedIn connection. Curt, you can't continue to be the best kept secret or you will go out of business in secret. Bam. That became the title of the book. Stop being the best kept secret, just from that dialogue on LinkedIn. So again, by putting that content out there, you're putting yourself out there. These are bold moves. Sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking. You hit that submit button. You're like, man, is somebody going to read this? Is somebody going to say something nasty or mean? But just put yourselves out there. It is such a positive, rewarding experience. Now, what I want to talk to you about, the next step, I started creating all this content. We're like, hey, what if we create a webinar series and we post it on with videos and LinkedIn Live? So what we did is we wanted to connect our Soulmate 100, basically our lampshades and our light bulbs. So last year during COVID, we started, myself and my partner, Damon Pastulka, we started doing webinars every single Friday called Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. We're manufacturing e-commerce success. And these are all our soulmates. Look at these great speakers we have. We have high-level speakers, major manufacturers. This gentleman worked at Pinterest. This person up here, Pam, works for the U.S. Department of Commerce. So again, amazing speakers. And now what we're trying to do is we're trying to build street credibility, I guess. We're trying to build that trust, authenticity. We're trying to build credibility with our soulmates and that Soulmate 100 list. Now, the cool thing is because we're putting out all these webinars, now all of a sudden it became easier for us to contact other folks to put out other webinars. Now there's a company called Alibaba, one of the largest companies on the planet. They reach out, they're like, hey, we see you're doing all these webinars. You have all this content. Could you put together a webinar series for us? Because we know you have a deep bench of speakers. Absolutely. Now, again, what I do is I go to my network. I go to folks and I put it out there. I'm like, hey guys, I have a gig for us with Alibaba. What kind of response do I receive? Works for me. Awesome. Amazing. Nice work. Way to go. Heck yes. Wow. That's awesome. Thanks. Da, da, da. So again, by being committed to your network, by putting yourselves out there, just in helping people achieve their goals, just moves the needle for you. So now we put out a webinar. It goes on live on LinkedIn every single Friday. We record it. It goes on YouTube. It also goes on our website. Now we have, check this out, all this content here. Now here's my lazy tip, and then Jenna will take a break after, we'll take a pause for any questions after this slide. Here's my lazy tip for you. If you're sitting there thinking to yourself, man, who has time to blog? Who has time to do this, that, the other thing? Here's a little lazy tip for you. If you just take your camera, say again, your expertise, the information that you have, shoot a short video. Take that video, you can post it on YouTube, you could post it on Vimeo. We're going to go deep and talk about video strategies tomorrow with our e-commerce class. But when you post that video, what you can do is this website called Otter AI. Otter AI. And what it is, it's a free transcription tool. It will take your video and it will transcribe it. So now you have the words. Now what you can do is now you have a video. You can take that transcription, that could become a blog post, that could become multiple short social media posts. You could put it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, what have you. So by literally shooting 1 2-minute video, you could stretch it out and that could literally become like a month worth of content. Okay. So again, that's my lazy tip for you right there. So Jenna, I'm going to take a quick pause. So far, do we have any questions in the chat box? And next, we're going to take a deep dive into video and LinkedIn Live. And if not, I'm going to keep moving forward. We good? We're looking good, Craig? Perfect.
Yes, we're good.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Let's keep rocking. How are we doing on time? We're good. Okay, so we're 11:30. All right, guys. So check this out. So now, again, let's just do a recap. If you're brand new to LinkedIn, we want to make sure we're speaking the right language to that right buyer, right? We want to minimize the confusion. We want to team and align ourselves with the right folks that we want to do business with. We want to put out some valuable content, right? Next, we want to talk about creating video and LinkedIn Live and how this can help our businesses and how we can build that community up, okay? So now, once again, I want to give a huge shout out to my friends at the Ohio here at Youngstown State Small Business Development Center. And again, as I'm describing and explaining that Soulmate 100 list, I do a lot of work and a lot of engagement, a lot of webinars for SBDCs in different states. And it's such an honor and privilege. I love working with our SBDCs. I also work with an agency called the MEPs. Now, the MEP is the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. You can just view it as basically maybe a sibling of the SBDC, except they exclusively target manufacturers, what happens to be Bert's Soulmates, right? So there's one in all 50 states. So I just want to show you an example. So this is the director of the New York MEP. So what we did is we shot a quick promo video with my dear friend Elena. When I shoot a video, I put out a post, and check this out. As an entrepreneur, surrounding yourself with passionate and trusted experts plays a critical role in hitting your goals and reaching success. So now what I've done is I'm promoting the New York MEP and I'm promoting Elena. Now you look down here at the very bottom, you see there was 1,100 views of that video, 1,100 views. Now, maybe some of you are like crushing it. I know for an old guy like me, that's not a ton, but however, what did it cost me to have that? I did a 2-minute Zoom interview with Elena, put it on Vimeo, posted on LinkedIn. How much did that cost me? 0. And now what kind of engagement do I receive? Now, what I can do is I can go into the stats and I can see, okay, who of the 1,100 views, who watched it? We had 45 comments. So there was nice traction in the activity there. You take a look here. Now, again, I'm trying to connect with MEPs. And again, this is just a process. I want you thinking about your soulmates, your Soulmate 100. Who could you be connecting with, right? So you take a look at the list here. So the New Jersey MEP, there were 6 people from the New Jersey MEP. Jen Edge is the Virginia MEP, 4 people from that organization. From the Missouri Enterprise, that's also an MEP, 3 people. Minofrex is a large manufacturer. So again, that crowd that Bert is trying to attract is watching that video. Let me show you another one. So here we go again. This is a gentleman. He was a guest on our Friday webinar. We did a quick promo promoting his upcoming webinar. He also speaks. We were doing a nice gig at the Small Business Development Center at Temple University. He's one of our speakers there. Looking to take your business global with e-commerce, catch international expert Ray Zagato, So we had 50 comments, 40 comments, 50 likes, but check this out, 2,200 views. Okay, so 2,200 views. And now again, I can take a look and like, okay, who's watching this video? 8 people from Rockwell Automation. Is that on my Soulmate 100 list? Absolutely, man. They deal with thousands, probably tens of thousands of manufacturers. IMEC, the Illinois MEP. Fuse Hub, the New York MEP. Alibaba, New York, the New Jersey MEP. Microsoft. So again, the folks that we're trying to target are watching that engagement, that video. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, let me show you another example. So now what I can do, now that we're putting out that content, now we're having these videos, now instead of like sending out a cold call, Now I can invite people to come on to our webinar. Now I can invite people to do an interview with us. So let me just give you an example. Hey, April, hope you're having a fantastic week. Would you have interest in joining us for an interview on Monday? 30 minutes, we can spotlight. Now, again, remember I used that lampshade example. Why do I use that lampshade example? Because we're trying to put a spotlight on our soulmates. Now we can spotlight all the amazing work that you are doing with the Virginia MVP, explain how the MVP helps manufacturers, crack a few jokes, have some laughs. Does it sound like fun? She joined us and it was absolutely awesome. So we had a great time. And take a look what this did for April. Okay, April's become a dear friend, but look how important this was to her by just simply, how many of us are doing virtual coffees or we do these virtual calls? Well, what if you just record it? What if you just simply record it? And look what it did for April. Sometimes you get presented an opportunity that is really exciting. You just know you want to do it because it's going to be an amazing experience, but you have hesitation because it pushes you out of your comfort zone. There's one decision point there's that decision point, do what feels safe and say no, thank you, but opting to stay in your no growth zone. I love that. Stay in your no growth zone. Let's get out of the no growth zone. Or yes, I will, opting to lean into the discomfort and experience to grow. She does a live interview. Check this out. She hashtags courageously uncomfortable live interview. And she was absolutely amazing. She was wonderful. She connected us with this gentleman. So now she was referring people, hey, that was a great interview. That was fun. You need to interview this person. Now let's just check out the stats here once again. Gen Edge, Massachusetts MEP, New Jersey MEP, Airgas, Missouri MEP. Then who's our guest yesterday? A gentleman from the Missouri MEP. Now take a look at all these comments over here to the right. By posting this LinkedIn live, and we're allowing this gentleman to shine a light on his agency, his organization, his expertise. Now we have all sorts of people who are coming into our live, watching this live, and now they are engaging. And again, we're just trying to build that community of trust. I'm just showing how we're all in this together to try to help other companies, other manufacturers. Show you one last one. And again, it's a great way to avoid those dreaded cold calls, because now when I send a note like this, hey, Maura, I hope you're doing great. Would you be interested in joining us for an interview? We can spotlight all the amazing work that you're doing at the SBDC. And if you look down, and I shared with her an example of a different interview from someone from a different SBDC. And you see down here at the bottom, sounds like a blast. I'm in. Okay. So again, and here we had a great time. And you look down here at the bottom, we had over 300 views of that interview that we did last month, and came back. And now we're rolling out this wonderful, incredible webinar series at the Temple University SBDC, just like we are here at Youngstown State. Now, if you are considering going on LinkedIn Live, you need a third-party tool. Okay, you need a third-party tool just for those of you that are on the cusp and you're thinking about it. The one that I use is called StreamYard, okay? StreamYard, because LinkedIn doesn't have the capability of streaming directly, so you can use this. And you can see here, this is all of our content. So again, so Maura from SBDC, we called her Dream Supporter, Goal Crusher, Manufacturing Monday Motivation. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to come in with just a contagious enthusiasm, a positive mission, a positive message. And this is how we're connecting with our folks to move the needle for our business. Now, as you are trying to reach out to your soulmates, your soulmate 100 list, what you can do is you can go to that organization, that business, go to their website. When you go on their website, you look up here in the corner, look for their LinkedIn button, click their LinkedIn button, and then you can go to their LinkedIn page. So this, lo and behold, this is our friends at the one of the Ohio MEPs. These are our friends in Toledo. And this is called SIFT, the Center for Innovative Food and Technology. And so now what I can do is I can go to their company page. I can go to their list of staff, check them out. I can see where did they go to college? What interests do they have? Hobbies, volunteering, so on and so forth. I can deliver a personal message to connect with them. Now, I showed that in our last workshop, but what I can do now is I can send this video of that we did with April, which was just wonderful. And I can send a note and I can say this. Hey guys at SIFT, We've started interviewing MEPs on Mondays to discuss all the amazing work that you're doing. Here's an example of my friend April at Gen Edge, the Virginia MEP. So now I don't have to explain it. I can just show it. They can take a look at it. What do I receive in response? This sounds amazing. What a great opportunity, so on and so forth. Thank you for thinking of us. So again, instead of trying to sell or a cold call, now what I'm doing is I'm giving to this agency, this organization, shining a bright light on them, doing things authentically with genuine positive attitude, and we get a great response. So again, this is a workshop that we did for Washington. This is a workshop we've done in New York. And so the nice thing is, as you go out to your other Soulmate 100 lists, now you have content. So now, like all of our speakers that have spoke at our webinar series, now when somebody says, hey, Curt, do you have anybody that knows anything about Google Shopping? Or do you have a Google My Business expert? Or do you have so on and so forth? Now, all I need to do is I can take a video I can take the link. It's already done. I can take a link of that webinar and send it to the person asking that question. I'm now shining a bright light on the person that spoke for us. It adds more credibility to me by now becoming that go-to person for expert speakers. And this was a great example of like connecting with Purdue University. And what Purdue did is they went out there, they did a bunch of due diligence and research and like, hey, who is this guy? And hey, Curt, we spent the past couple of weeks doing our due diligence on your interactions with our other MEPs. They were all positive about capability, competence, and networks. Let's take the next steps. So again, by doing all this work ahead of time, it just makes it so much easier. And what's interesting, so we offer e-commerce training. Again, we have a great program tomorrow that we're going to be rolling out. And tomorrow, we're going to be taking a deep dive into like e-commerce strategy, shopping cart selection, product listings. We're going to be talking about your product, optimizing your product, so on and so forth. When we do our training, when we get into our social media strategy, we kind of kid around about so many folks are saying, man, who has time to do all this? Who has time for social media? I'm too busy making cold calls and cold emails that nobody responds to. So let's take it one step further. So let me go back to when you're putting out your content, when you're putting out a post, I just want to give you an example of how to create more engagement for your post. When you put out, in this case, when you put out an article, as a matter of fact, I'm going to back it up one. What I did, if you're like, man, I'm looking for ideas for content. What I did is there's a New York Times bestselling author. Her name is Allison Levine. She has this amazing, incredible TED Talk, one of the most inspiring TED Talks that it's just mind blowing, right? So I watched her TED Talk, immediately purchased her book, read her book. My daughter and I read it together. It was just so inspirational. I decided to write a book review on her book. I posted it on LinkedIn. When I posted it on LinkedIn, I put a comment here. And what I did is I tagged her. Okay. So when you tag somebody, it's just like if you do it on Facebook or on Twitter, whenever you tag somebody, I tagged her and I just put a comment about how this was a couple of years ago. My daughter and I read her book together. She came back like, man, that's awesome. Thank you, so on and so forth. Now what happened, check this out. For me, this was a ton, had 115 likes. Now that's a great opportunity when you put a post out like that and people are liking it. Now you can go out and send a connection to all these people. And again, you just never know who that next great connection is going to be on your LinkedIn network. 2 years later, I come back to Allison and I said, Allison, man, we offer this great webinar series every Friday. Would you and I connected a couple years ago? Would you consider being a guest? She said, absolutely, man. She was awesome. Now check this out. This was pretty powerful. I put out a post on LinkedIn promoting our webinar. Again, our webinars go live, are posted on LinkedIn Live. So we promote, that's where we do most of our promotion is on LinkedIn. So I put out this post about Allison Levine. I grabbed her TED Talk and put her TED Talk in the post. 5,500 views. Check that out right there. 5,500 views just of watching her TED Talk. Now, when people came to her TED Talk, check this out. 13 people from Amazon, 10 people from Microsoft, 8 people from Apple, the New Jersey MEP. Again, these are quality folks that are aligned with the network that we're trying to align with by just simply reposting a TED Talk. Now, again, we're putting out that she's going to speak for us at our program. And we had a great time. It was such a powerful session. We talked to a few people after the program. They're like, she was so inspiring. We were literally in tears. So I encourage you, check out Allison Levine, check out her TED Talk, her book. She's absolutely amazing. Last point that I want to make with you guys is how engaging with the community. Engaging with the community. This is a great way to show your team, your culture, not only just trying to attract ideal customers, those soulmates. There's if for those of you that are familiar, there's a little bit of a labor shortage going on right now. So by posting what you do in the community is also a great way for recruiting those ideal employees, teammates, staff members. This is a company I've had the honor and privilege working with. They're based out of Miami. They've been going aggressively after LinkedIn. And what they post is they do a ton of community work. Now, I love this post. It's sassy. It's great. This is my dear friend, Jen. She's just such a beautiful person. Are hard hats and heels still a thing? Here she is on top of the Hard Rock in Miami. She was doing this great project. She's there in her pink hard hat. She has her high heels on. And here are the photos that she posted. She had wonderful engagement on this post. Next, they posted how they were in the community. They were doing on Earth Day. Jen and her entire team did a big beach cleanup. And then this was they just posted this an hour before the program. I had to slide it into the program for today. Every month they do a community project. Yesterday, they were out at the Miami Rescue Mission and working with the folks there. Now, how does this pay off? What does this demonstrate and show their community, their tribe, their soulmates? Well, take a look. They call me Uncle Curt. I get a note says, hey, Uncle Curt, you're right. LinkedIn works. And you look down here and they received a wonderful lead from a university. And that is completely on their Soulmate 100 list by just being on LinkedIn, being present, showing the value that they deliver and how they give back to the community. And that's how they are earning their stripes on LinkedIn. So guys, I'm going to wrap up. I'm more than happy. I'm ending a few minutes early. I would love to address any specific questions that you have. This is a little tagline for you guys from my dear friend, Lucille Ball. We're not funny. I'm just brave. But just to let me do a quick recap. Guys, focus on your strengths and your opportunities. You want to be laser focused on delivering that right message to the right buyer. Focus on those groups that can help you move the needle. Shine a bright light on those ideal customers, those folks that you're trying to align yourself with. And since we're at Youngstown State, what you want to do, you just want to make your tribe, your folks, your peeps, anybody in your network, those soulmates, make them feel like they just won a national championship. Our dear friend, Jim Tressel, president of Youngstown State University. Guys, I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions whatsoever, please shoot me a note. You can find me at Curt at B2B Tail. Of course, I would rather you find me on LinkedIn since we're at our LinkedIn workshop here. And from the bottom of my heart, bottom of Bert's heart, I thank you. Thank you for your time. And guys, tomorrow, another great program, man. We're going to go deep. We're taking a deep dive into your e-commerce strategies here at the Youngstown State Small Business Development Center. So guys, thank you. I'm sticking around for questions. I would love to hear any questions or things that I didn't cover or anything that didn't make sense.
Thank you, Curt. That's an excellent presentation. I know that there are some questions. So Jenna, if you don't mind, maybe reading off some of those questions for Curt, please.
Yeah, sure thing. So the first question we have is here. It says, can you talk about the strategy on using proper hashtags with the post and also hyperlinks to names and the values of using those in post?
Yeah, excellent question. Love it. Okay, so let's what we're going to do is, don't get dizzy. We're going to go backwards, right? Let's go back here. Okay, so let's take my friend Jen with her hard hats and heels, right? So what you can do, like what she did here, is like you can throw in a hashtag. You know, if you're familiar, if you're, I'm not a hashtag expert, but this is what I do for LinkedIn. Okay. Maybe, and there's probably folks on here that are more versed from a Twitter, other platforms as far as hashtags go. I love putting in like goofy hashtags just to kind of catch people's attention, make them smile. I frequently use Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. It's this little book that I wrote. Jen here has Hard Hats and Heels. Now there's a couple different approaches. Okay. You can do a Google search for whatever platform you're on, and you can say most popular hashtags on this for this topic. Okay. So like if you just did something super broad, like business, entrepreneur, it's going to be so broad. It's going to be, quite extensive. What I encourage you to do, niche it down a little bit with your hashtag of like, maybe like in our case today, LinkedIn strategies, SBDC, Youngstown State University. So like I just put out a post right before our program started for our program tomorrow. And I just threw in hashtag eCommerce, SBDC, those types of things. So now from a tagging standpoint, here's what I encourage you to do. Awesome question. I might have to go back a ways. So what you want to do when you're tagging is you want to tag people that are part of your network that or you think or you hope that are going to comment. Now, I'm not a logarithm expert. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about capturing those first page rankings on Google. Nobody on the planet knows how the logarithm works, except for probably 5 people that work at Google, but we can try to guess or figure it out. What part of the LinkedIn, there are a couple of tips for you on LinkedIn. What you want to do, what I've done here is I'm tagging people strategically who are in the MEP network, who I've worked with, who are in my network, who I know are active on LinkedIn. If I tag a bunch of people who are going to be crickets and are not going to respond, they're not going to comment, they're not going to like, it doesn't help my post. What you want to do is you want to try to get as quick an engagement as possible. So a great thing to do is tag people in your network, be super now the thing is, I love this question because it is so much better to give than to receive. So you want to be active on other people's posts because then now they're going to be more active and more apt to come on your post in a like, in a comment, like some of those valuable comments that we showed earlier. Okay. Now, what you also want to do, LinkedIn doesn't like people leaving LinkedIn. Makes sense, right? Facebook doesn't like people leaving Facebook. So when you put a post and you're going to put a link to another website, what I encourage you to do, put your post, but then put your link in the first comment. And what you can say, like, for example, if I just posted again, right before our program about our webinar tomorrow, I put, please check first comment below for the registration, because now what I've done is I'm telling LinkedIn, I'm trying to get people to stay here on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn allows you to put that link in the comment below. Then you can do the registration from there. What I've done is 2 things. It looks like somebody's commenting on my own post. Now I've given more opportunity for people to like it, and there's more activity for the logarithm. Hopefully that made sense. So use strategic hashtags, tag people strategically, put links in the comments below, because now it activates more comments into your post and it looks like it's more vibrant. How was that? How was that, Jenna?
Oh, great. We also had another question too. It says, how do you get that opportunity to actually have a phone call then with your soulmate that you find on LinkedIn? How do you get to that stage and how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, again, wonderful question. So a couple examples we gave. So at our our LinkedIn part 1, what I talked about, let's go back a few, right? Let's go back to this engagement here. So what I encourage you to do is, I took it out. I had a slide where, like I showed you guys Purdue. Okay. Just made a recent connection with Purdue. I connected with Purdue, when? August of 2020. It took a year to like really build and nurture that relationship. It takes a long time. So I don't claim that I have a silver bullet. Now, in our last program, I was also kidding around about, I had a slide up that said, you had me at hello, where sometimes you get that quick, fast, immediate response. So let's go back a few. Okay. How do we get a call? Okay. How do we get a call with somebody? So here, like this person here, this person's an MEP network. I drop my initial, hey, how are you? Okay. How are things going? My next one could come back. And now, either in this case, I can say, hey, we're doing some webinars. We just did a webinar at another MEP. So here's something to consider is you strategically find let's say, for example, you're targeting Fortune 500 company, okay? Someone at General Electric, and you find the right person. You send a little genuine note. Hey, how are you? Awesome profile. I see you went to Youngstown State University. Way to go. Great college. See you volunteered here. You have these interests. Great to, I would love to be in your network. Let's connect. Maybe, and hopefully they accept. When they accept, another thing to come back with, hey, I just saw this article in Fortune magazine. Hey, I just saw this article in Inc. magazine, and it made me, I saw you had this in your profile, and it made me think of you. Hope you don't mind. Here's this article, da, da, da. So now what you're trying to do is you're trying to build a rapport by showing that you're being authentic, showing that you care, and how do you deliver value to them? What's in it for them? Because if you're just, if you're selling insurance and you're a stockbroker and you're just like, hey, can I sell you a 401k? Hey, can I sell you life insurance? Hey, can I sell you this? They're going to put up the stop sign, right? But if you keep showing with genuine interest that you have value with either an article, a white paper, something that would be of value to them, more importantly, for that the person that asked that question, get involved in that person's posts. Okay. What you can do is you can go to that person's profile, click on where it says see activity, and see what type of posts that they're posting on. And that's an easier way, because now you're actually even doing it in public. So let's say, for example, Jenna puts out this awesome article about, safety measures in the workplace. And I'm like, man, I'd love to get a call with Jenna. And now what I could do is, now that she's posted that in public, like, hey, the Youngstown State University SBDC is putting out a workplace safety webinar next Wednesday. I could now chime in to Jenna. Hey, Jenna, that is an awesome webinar. A bunch of my clients would like to go to that. Could you share with me the link? Da, da, da. Hey, Jenna, maybe could we jump on a call? I'd love to learn more about that webinar, because I want to send more people to your webinar to help you be more successful, right? So again, be thinking about how we can help Jenna be more successful in that process.
Okay, great. Another question we have is, what KPIs, so key performance indicators, do you recommend keeping track of, and what's a good strategy to keep track of them as well?
Well, I'll go old school. You know what? How about the wallet, right? That's what, that is a phenomenal question. And reason being is because every person has a different level of success, right? Different measurement of success. Even throughout, I'm an older dude, even throughout my career, I've had different measurements of success. So my answer to you is for KPI. There's people on LinkedIn. I think I maybe showed this in the last one, they have 200,000, 1 million followers on LinkedIn. And the funny thing is, I don't know, how these folks are doing financially, but the running joke is a lot of people are like, man, maybe you have 1 million followers, but you can't cover the mortgage this week. It's, you could have another person that has 100 followers on LinkedIn, but they're connected to Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. And, so quality versus quantity, what is your measurement of success? Okay. So if you want hundreds of thousands of followers, man, and then you're successful. If you want just a small measurement of success with small followers, but you're really trying to move the needle with your business, I think that's going to help measure more. And I'll say it like this. If I'm selling a widget for $10, man, for me to make a living on a $10 widget, I need thousands and thousands of soulmates. When I had my e-commerce business 100 years ago, our average, it was almost like a dollar store online. We needed thousands of customers. It was like just constant. If you are a mortgage banker, an investment stockbroker, attorney, you can have a much smaller, more quality audience. And again, maybe 500 people is plenty for you on LinkedIn. So, without digging too, and if I were talking with you one-on-one, maybe we take it a little bit further. But that's my answer to you, is like, set your goals, right? We talked about that, those strengths and opportunities. Focus on your opportunities. Let's chase profits. Let's not chase sales. and how can you move the needle there? I think that's a great way for you to connect, or a KP, let's set our own LinkedIn KPIs is what my answer would be.
This sounds good. Thanks, Curt. Craig, I think that wraps it up for Q&A. And as always, too, if there's any additional questions, we'll be sending out Curt's contact info, and same here for the center. And we can answer any additional questions too after the webinar.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Jenna. And Curt, again, we truly appreciate taking the time today to help our attendees learn more about LinkedIn for Business. I see that Jenna did post in the chat a link to sign up for tomorrow's session at 11 a.m. just in case, if you haven't done so already, it's right there in the chat. Again, special thanks to Jenna and Nikki for designing all the digital assets and setting up the sessions today. Special thanks to Patricia Weiss, our director of our SBDC, for having this program available for all of our clients and others. So again, appreciate everyone joining us today. Very, very excited about tomorrow's session, 11 a.m. on part 2 session on eCommerce 101, how to boost your e-commerce strategy. So Curt, thank you again. I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. and everyone else have a great day.
Guys, thank you. God bless everybody. Jenna, Craig, thank you so much. Nikki, great to meet you. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.